Election results are out, supporters are dancing, news anchors are shouting, leaders are claiming victory, and then suddenly silence because nobody has enough seats to form the government. This is called a hung assembly. One of the most dramatic situations in democracy. In simple terms, a hung assembly happens when no political party or alliance crosses the majority mark in a legislative assembly. Suppose an assembly has 200 seats. To govern, you need 101, but imagine this result: Party A 95, Party B 89, smaller parties 10, and independent 6. Now, nobody can rule alone, and suddenly politics changes completely. During elections, leaders talk about ideology, development, nationalism, welfare, but after a hung assembly, politics becomes pure arithmetic. Every MLA matters. Small regional parties became kingmakers. Independent candidates whom nobody noticed during campaigning suddenly became the center of national attentions. Their phones ring non-stop. Meeting begins in luxury hotels. Resorts get booked overnight, and political parties start pro- protecting democracy inside five-star swimming pools. Indian politics has tuned hung assemblies into a parallel tourism industry. But why does this happen? Usually for four reasons. First, fragmented voting, different communities, regions, and groups vote differently. Second, rise of regional parties. National parties may dominate television debates, but regional parties dominate local equations. Third, anti incumbency without a clear alternative. People want change, but are not fully convinced by the opposition either. And fourth, triangular contest. When the three strong parties divide votes, nobody gets enough seats. Now, constitutionally, what happens next? The governor invites the largest party or alliance to prove the majority on the floor of the House. This is called the floor test. And that floor test became the real political exam. Because governments in India are not decided by the press conferences. They survive only if numbers survive. Now, look at the recent Indian politics. Okay, states like Maharashtra, Karnataka, Goa, and Jharkhand have shown how fragile coalition politics can become. Sometimes parties fight elections against each other and later form governments together. That creates a huge ethical questions. Did voters choose this alliance or did politicians create it afterward? And that is where the debates on constitutional morality begin. Technically, coalition making is legal, but people start questioning democracy when MLAs suddenly switch camps, government collapse overnight, or ideology disappears for power sharing. For common citizens, it often feels less like governance and more like political stock trading. But hung assemblies are not entirely negative. They also prevent excessive concentration of power. A huge majority can become arrogant. A hung assembly forces negotiation, compromise, and consultation. No single party can behave like the absolute owner of the state. So, hung assembly is both a sign of democratic diversity and a sign of political instability. This is the paradox. And perhaps the most interesting thing is this: sometimes voters deliberately refuse to give full power to anyone. It is public saying, we trust you enough to participate in power, but not enough to control all of it. And that uncertainty, that unstable political arithmetic, is where the real drama of democracy truly begins. This is all about Hong Assembly. I hope you like this video.